Okay. The May 4th, 2022 meeting of the Ways and Means Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Barnhart. Ms. Barnhart is here. Mr. Brew. Mr. Brew is here. Mr. Colby. Mr. Colby is here. Chairman Delahaney.
Here.
Chairman Delahaney is here. Mr. Dondorfer. Mr. Dondorfer is here. Mr. Mafucci. Mr. Mafucci is here. Mr. Marinetti. Mr. Marinetti is here. Ms. Roman. Ms. Roman is here. Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith is here. Ms. Vasquez Simmons. Ms. Vasquez Simmons is here. And Mr. Udelson. Mr. Udelson is here.
The clerk's office is happy to announce that the audio-visual professionals have completed the necessary adjustments needed to address the live microphones when streaming on YouTube. Going forward, all microphones should only be considered live when unmuted by the clerk's office when legislators obtain the floor. The clerk's office will continually monitor each microphone in case of any lapses or gaps that may have been missed. Thank you. Will Legislator Marinetti please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Pat Gooch, Senior Planner for Monroe County's Planning and Development Department, will now give a brief overview of the 2023-2028 Capital Improvement Program as it pertains to Ways and Means Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You should all have received a copy of the County Executive's recommended 2023-2028 CIP. The Monroe County Planning Board reviewed the County Executive's proposal, held a public hearing, and prioritized budget year projects before the CIP being submitted to your honorable body. At the full legislature meeting in June, you'll set a public hearing for July, and then, upon your favorable review, vote to approve the plan. There are no funding approvals associated with taking action on this referral. We're going to take just a few moments to look at the recommended capital improvement program in terms of funding sources, budget year funding, the budget years 2023, and new projects, most of which are introduced to the CIP in 2028. You should also have a supplement to the CIP, which breaks down cash spending in the C, D, and E categories where appropriate. The 146 project, 6-year program is summarized by department and in total in Table 1 on pages 2 to 3 of the CIP. The recommended total program funding is $498 million. Total county funding is just over $279 million in the recommended CIP, just over 56% of the total CIP. There are two kinds of county funding, bonding and county cash. Projects that use county cash are paid for out of operating funds and do not impact the county's debt. Total district funding is used by the Pure Waters program and accounts for almost 17% of total CIP funding. There are two kinds of district funding, bonding and district cash. Projects that use county cash are paid for out of operating funds and do not impact Pure Water's debt. Enterprise funding, or user fees, for the hospital, airport, and solid waste accounts for 5.4% of total CIP funding. There are two kinds of enterprise funding, bonding and cash. Projects that use cash are paid for out of operating funds. State and federal funding is used in the MCC in Monroe Community College, the airport, facilities, traffic and engineering, highways and bridges, and sheriff's programs. Together, state and federal funding account for almost 18% of CIP funding. There is close to $16.8 million in private funding in this CIP. The Seneca Park Zoo Society is donating over $15 million to the Tropics exhibit. Also, a private developer is planning to pay for a part of the East River Road project. Table 2 on pages 4 and 5 of your CIP lists 64 capital budget projects in priority order as determined by the Monroe County Planning Board. 2023 capital projects will require over $125 million in total funding. Table 3 on page 7 summarizes the estimated debt service during the program years. Based on existing debt, authorized but as of yet unissued debt, and funding proposed in the recommended CIP. Now I'm going to highlight a few departments with new projects in this CIP. MCC's funding plan, which begins on page 11, contains 9 projects, 3 of which are new. Note that all county funding for MCC is matched by the state. MCC's program accounts for 14.5% of the total capital program. Moving on to the Department of Environmental Services. The Pure Waters program begins on page 38. 3 new projects are introduced to the CIP in 2028. General improvements to the sanitary sewer system in each district are funded with district cash and so will not impact the district's debt service payments. The Facilities Management Program begins on page 46 of your CIP. There is 1 new project, City Place General Improvements, which is introduced into the CIP in 2028. The 6-year program for county funding of the Parks Department begins on page 53. There are 10 parks projects in the CIP. Oatka Creek Park Master Plan Update is new in 2028. The Parks program accounts for 2.5% of this recommended capital program. The zoo does not have a new project in this CIP. The schedule and amount of funding for the tropical exhibit and main entry plaza changed from the adopted CIP. This program leverages private funding from the nonprofit Seneca Zoo Society and the state of New York. In this CIP, the zoo accounts for 13.2% of the total program. The Department of Transportation Highways and Bridges program begins on page 60 of the CIP and includes 3 new projects. The Highway Preventive Maintenance number 8 project received approval in federal funding in 2021, and Highway Maintenance Project number 9 was approved for 2022. The county covers 5%, slightly over $250,000 of the $5.5 million project. County funds for North Goodman Street and Clover Street rehabilitation projects are programmed in 2026. Information about the department's public safety's 6-year program begins on page 79. There are 15 projects in this program. One of these projects, Special Operations Vehicle Replacement for the Fire Bureau, is new. The first 3 projects in the public safety program will be funded by county cash from the operating budget. No borrowing is involved. The public safety program accounts for just over 3% of the total capital program. The Sheriff's program begins on page 88. There are 10 projects in the Sheriff's program. 2 new projects are introduced in 2028, radio communications infrastructure for jail and court bureau, and Sheriff's Special Operations building upgrades. The Special Operations building is at Fleet Center and is currently a covered patio. The proposal is to enclose it. The Sheriff's vehicles replacement will be funded with cash. The Sheriff's program accounts for 5% of the total capital program. I'll be happy to take questions when the committee gets to this item on its agenda. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gooch. Are there any speakers signed up for the public forum?
We actually have 1 speaker signed up this evening. When I call your name, please come forward to the podium. You'll have 2 minutes in which to address the committee and just conclude when the timer sounds. Our first speaker is Christina Chrisman.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christina Chrisman, President of the Federation of Social Workers, employees that cover the Department of Human Services. I'm here to speak in support of the amendment to the 2022 salary schedule and the retention payments. We would really appreciate it if we could get your support behind that. As you know, we have been struggling to stay fully staffed. The only thing that we would ask is that in the retention payments, those are only proposed for full-time employees. We have a lot of part-time employees as well as per diem employees. We don't want to lose them. So we're asking for some kind of equitable retention payment for them too. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the committee at this time? The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have the minutes from the April 26, 2022 meeting before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. The next item on the agenda is new business. Mr. Clerk?
Referral 22-0161, adopt 2023-2028 capital improvement program.
Moved by legislator Marionetti, seconded by legislator Brew. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0162, amend the 2022-2027 capital improvement program and 2022 capital budget to add a project entitled Monroe Community College Wolks Health Center. Authorize financing for the project. Authorize a contract with the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York.
Moved by legislator Brew, seconded by legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Legislator Mafucci.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be a little redundant. At last night's meeting, I'd just like to thank the Dormitory Authority and the Wolf Foundation for financing this project. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0163, amend the 2022 capital budget and authorize financing to increase funding for the space utilization and renovation of City Place project.
Moved by legislator Smith, seconded by legislator Dondorfer. Legislator Colby, you have the floor.
Chairman, how much, this is coming out of cash capital, so we're not going to bond anything for this. That's correct.
Mr. Chairman, that is actually incorrect. This particular referral seeks the authorization for financing.
Well, I thought it was going to come out of cash capital. Okay.
Legislator Smith, you have the floor.
Through the chair, this is at the highest in decades. Why are we doing this project now?
Through the chair, Mike Garland from DES. As you know, our estimates were developed by LaChase Construction, and we feel confident in the numbers that we've developed. And we are aware of the volatility in the market. We expect that to be a sustained situation in the marketplace. And it would be our advice to move forward with the project as is, given the uncertainty in the market, but we can't speculate on when it will improve. We certainly hope it will in the future. But we have programmatic needs. We've also had an increase in the number of staff in the various departments, conflict defender, including the assigned counsel program, Office of Mental Health, including the FIT staff, pretrial services, and the child support unit in the law department. They've had an increase of about 43 staff. Not all of them have been hired yet, but they will be. We have folks in temporary space. We have folks working from home, so they're not ideal working conditions. And we feel programmatically it's important that we develop the space. It will be, they can occupy it at the end of 2023 based on our current schedule, and we'll be able to, perform their function, I think, in the best, most appropriate environment.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0164, authorize a contract with Hunt Engineers, Architects, Land Surveyors, and Landscape Architect for professional design services for the fiber optic master plan project.
Moved by legislator Dondorfer, seconded by legislator Colby. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0165, authorize a contract with Hunt Engineers, Architects, Land Surveyors, and Landscape Architect for professional services for the Monroe Community College Expand Virtual Learning Center project.
Moved by legislator Colby, seconded by legislator Marionetti. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0166, authorize a contract with Fisher Associates for professional design services for the Monroe Community College Improved Safety of Downtown Campus Entrance Project.
Moved by legislator Marionetti, seconded by legislator Brew. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0167, authorize the implementation of a project labor agreement for the Specialized Secure Detention Facility Capital Project.
Moved by legislator Brew, seconded by legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0169, authorize the implementation of a project labor agreement for the Tropical Exhibit Main Entry Plaza Project.
Moved by legislator Smith, seconded by legislator Dondorfer. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, legislator Brew, I'm sorry, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, to the administration, we've seen a number of referrals which are actually invoking a project labor agreement for a number of these projects. It appears to me that the PLAs are a good idea, and through you, Chair administration, you see PLAs as pretty much a standard process going forward?
Through the chair, we've had a lot of success with project labor agreements, and they provide uniform work conditions. They provide savings to the county, guaranteed workforce. Typically, the project labor agreements are most effective for projects that are schedule-driven, that are complex in nature, and ones that are generally, I would say, within the $10 to $15 million range to be able to generate adequate savings.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0170, authorize an intermunicipal agreement with the City of Rochester for the county to supply chilled water to the city's air conditioning system at the Blue Cross Arena.
Moved by legislator Dondorfer, seconded by legislator Colby. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0175, 2022 Annual Action Plan for Housing and Community Development in Suburban Monroe County and grant submission to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Moved by legislator Colby, seconded by legislator Marionetti. Is there any discussion? So noted. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0176, amend Resolution 194 of 2021 to authorize a second amendment to Monroe County's 2021 Annual Action Plan for the Home Investment Partnerships American Rescue Plan Home ARP program to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Moved by legislator Marionetti, seconded by legislator Brew. Is there any discussion? Yes, you have the floor. Okay, so noted. Thank you. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0177, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation for the Zoos, Botanical Gardens, and Aquariums program.
Moved by legislator Brew, seconded by legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0178, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Office of Parks, recreation, and historic preservation for the Snowmobile Trail Development and Maintenance Program, and authorize contracts with the Hilton Snow Flyers, Webster Ridge Runners Snowmobile Club, Salmon Creek Snowmobile Club, and Hill and Gully Riders for the development and maintenance of trails.
Moved by legislator Smith, seconded by legislator Dondorfer. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0179, acceptance of funding from the New York State Office of Addiction Services and its supports, and amend Resolution 517 of 2021 as amended by the resolution adopted pursuant to referral 22-0131, authorizing contracts for the provision of mental health, developmental disability, and alcoholism and substance abuse services in 2022 for the Monroe County Office of Mental Health.
Moved by legislator Dondorfer, seconded by legislator Colby. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0180, amend Resolution 132 of 2021 to amend and increase the contract with URMC Labs, a division of the University of Rochester, for laboratory services at Monroe Community Hospital.
Moved by legislator Colby, seconded by legislator Marionetti. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0181, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services for the Paul Coverdell Forensic Science Improvement Program, Office of the Medical Examiner's Forensic Toxicology Laboratory.
Moved by legislator Marionetti, seconded by legislator Brew. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0182, acceptance of a grant from Health Research for the Expanded Partner Services Initiative.
Moved by legislator Brew, seconded by legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0183, amend Resolution 391 of 2019 to amend and increase the contract with Ultra Mobile Imaging to provide radiology services at Monroe Community Hospital and for the Monroe County Department of Public Health Tuberculosis Control Program.
Moved by legislator Smith, seconded by legislator Dondorfer. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0184, acceptance of federal and state aid for the operation and maintenance of the Rochester Monroe County Traffic Control Center.
Moved by legislator Dondorfer, seconded by legislator Colby. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0185, authorize an intermunicipal agreement with the City of Rochester to accept pass-through funding from the United States Department of Justice for the 2021 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant.
Moved by legislator Colby, seconded by legislator Marionetti. Second by the legislator
Vasquez Simmons.
Vasquez Simmons.
Noted.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0186, proposed in-rem tax foreclosure, action number 146, City of Rochester and Towns of Brighton et al.
Moved by legislator Marionetti, seconded by legislator Brew. Is there any discussion? Yes, legislator. You have the floor.
Yeah, thank you. Moving around so you can hear me.
Okay, yeah, I'm
Though
sorry, I didn't
though
see you
can
back.
project. Are any of these properties currently occupied by renters?
Mr. Chairman, no doubt some of these properties are occupied by renters. The real property system has no way of identifying renter versus owner occupied, however.
Share what happens to the renters? Or what the actions against the renters are, though they're against property owners?
Through the chair, different things happen to the renters. If there's a lease, they may be obligated, the new owner may be obligated to follow it. If there is no lease, the new owner may evict the person. The majority, anecdotally, the majority of leased properties to renters are in the city of Rochester, and the city of Rochester takes properties from our foreclosure or gets properties that don't sell at our foreclosure. And they often have to evict people because of lead paint issues if there's have children under the age of 7. So I know that answer's all over the place, but I think it has to be because there's a lot of different answers to the question.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0187, amend the 2022 capital budget to provide an increase in funding for the Monroe County Library System Fleet Replacement Project and authorize an interfund transfer.
Moved by legislator Brew, seconded by legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0188, authorize a contract with Well Now Urgent Care for medical occupational examinations and consultations for Monroe County employees and the Monroe County Hazmat Team.
Moved by legislator Smith, seconded by legislator Dondorfer. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0190, authorize the sale of county-owned surplus real property at the April 2022 public auction.
Moved by legislator Dondorfer, seconded by legislator Colby. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0191, authorization to settle a lawsuit in New York State Supreme Court, Monroe County, index number I-2017001-402.
Moved by legislator Colby, seconded by legislator Marionetti. I think we've all been briefed, from what I understand, on this lawsuit. So at this time, I'd like to ask, I don't believe we need to go into an executive session unless there's a request for it. But if not, I would like to ask that, we move forward. Okay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0192, amend the 2022 operating budget to add $1 admission for individuals receiving food assistance at Seneca Park Zoo.
Moved by legislator Marionetti, seconded by legislator Brew. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0195, amend the 2022 operating budget to appropriate fund balance for violence response initiatives of the Monroe County Office for the Sheriff and create 11 deputy sheriff road patrol positions.
Moved by legislator Brew, seconded by legislator Smith. Okay, second as well?
That was
Second, all right,
Legislator Mafucci and Legislator Vasquez Simmons.
yes.
Got it. Noted.
And is there any discussion at this time? Legislator Mafucci, you have the floor.
Having read through the referral, it very impressive. And thoroughness of this referral, what really wants to be accomplished, the intergovernmental cooperation between the city and the county.
Legislator Barnhart, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. For details and special investigations. Day-to-day work, what are proactive details?
Through the chair, these 5 deputies will be assigned throughout the county to include the city of Rochester. Their main purpose is to support criminal investigations when it comes time to make high-risk arrests of violent criminals, to do search warrants at locations, all sorts of efforts that require several people when it comes to the investigation and following leads, identifying suspects, locating suspects, taking them into custody safely. Through the chair, if I could, let me just kind of give you an idea of what the day-to-day operations are for the sheriff's deputies. So routinely now, more and more so, these deputies are spread thinner and thinner. They're covering a larger jurisdiction, and they're having to do so at a time when their partners in surrounding cars are getting pulled to do these specialized details because we don't have that 5-person team that we just talked about. So if you would, let's take a Pittsford deputy. They normally have 2 partners that are very close by. And more now, those partners are getting pulled to do other things in other areas because of the high violence. So you may be that one deputy working that district all by yourself, and your backup is 15 to 20 minutes away. So although these 3 deputies are not a huge change, it's a start in the right direction for us. And when you combine them with the 5 deputies on the tactical team, it allows us to keep that safe staffing level.
Through the chair to the administration, these 5 deputies are supposed to be alleviating the need for assistance with other jurisdictions that are dealing with violence. So are you saying really that more than 5 deputies will be assigned to assist the city and other places?
Through the chair, we use more than 5 deputies to assist the city every single day of the year. What we're asking for with the referral is an additional 5 so that we do not have to take uniformed cars out of their suburban districts in order to accomplish that task. So for instance, a search warrant in the city, there will be multiple warrants at one time, all connected to the same crime ring, violent crime. The city police will do the best they can to staff as many of those locations as possible, and they need the assistance. They can't cover them all. So we will pull those uniform cars out of their districts. We will have to backfill them with people out of headquarters that are doing licensing, they're doing firearms checks, they're doing pistol permits, because we certainly don't want to leave the zones uncovered. So it's a long answer to your short question, but it's kind of a trickle-down effect. The 5 deputies will be available for work all throughout the county, no matter where that violent crime is or where that firearm investigation takes us. But the key is they will prevent us from having to pull those uniform cars out of their towns and villages.
So what you're saying, through the chair to the administration, what you're saying is that you're currently understaffed and you need 3 regular road patrol deputies in addition to the current staffing.
Through the chair, we're asking for a total of 11 deputies we've decided that our priority is to put 3 dedicated to those zones to make sure that we always maintain that minimum staffing in the zones.
Through the chair to the administration, these 3 deputies, however, are not really assigned to anti-violence programs.
Through the chair, I guess that's a matter of opinion. Those 3 deputies will be new hires. They will allow us to take experienced deputies and assign them to those more violent areas, if that answers your question.
I'll move on. Through the chair to the administration, there is a deputy that will be working with social workers and clergy. Is this part of an existing program?
Through the chair, this is a new initiative worked in cooperation with the county executive's office. This is modeled after our heroin task force, victim recovery services to help prevent that, the continued cycle of drug use and overdose. We will model it after that program, working with clergy and social workers to visit the homes of those people who may have experienced an arrest for gun violence in their home. There are family members left behind the next day that need services to prevent that cycle of violence continuing and to prevent those children from growing up thinking that that's an acceptable lifestyle. So the goal is to make that introduction and to provide those resources for a longer term to prevent that cycle from continuing.
Through the chair to the administration, why just 1 deputy?
Through the chair, there are several factors in play with this. There are several organizations besides the sheriff's office involved in this. So we need to get it in place and off the ground and evaluate its successfulness, and then come back and determine what we should be adding and whether we should be redirecting in a different manner.
Thank you. Through the chair to the administration, I just wanted to finally touch on the jail services piece. What current services are going to be enhanced?
Superintendent Maurice Leone, through the chair. I'm sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Thank you. What current services are going to be enhanced?
Currently, we're looking at 2 different programs, which would be the Jail Intervention Ceasefire and the Jail Reentry Services Program, both in the planning phases.
Thank you. Through the chair to the administration, how did you arrive at the $275,000 figure?
Through the chair, that is seat money that we're still working on doing an estimate on that number.
Okay, so through the chair to the administration, this $275,000, is this for more positions at the jail? Is that what you're thinking?
Through the chair, no, that we're thinking that it may be through more positions, but more through a collaborated effort with stakeholders and contracts.
Through the chair, final question through the administration. How do we know that the 2 programs you're working on now are effective? Are you keeping track of the recidivism of the individuals who are incarcerated who are then released?
Through the chair, we haven't started the programs yet, but the ceasefire initiative would be through the county and jail, which would be involved with confronting the individuals and addressing the violent offenders prior to leaving custody and before they commit additional, violent acts. The jail reentry services is a need to coordinate with local services, and the reentry will be filling the gaps in service, enhancing the public safety, and reducing recidivism.
Through the chair to the administration, the reentry piece, is that ongoing now or is that a new program?
It is ongoing, through the chair, it is ongoing now, but this would be a larger program.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Legislator Brew.
Through the chair, with the addition of the 11 new positions, how far is the Sheriff's Department away from actually enlisting these 11 positions? Are they currently in training in the academy, or will there be some transferring? If you could just elaborate on that, please.
Through the chair, the Sheriff's Office Road Patrol currently has 10 identified vacancies. We also have another 9 deputies that are unavailable for work due to injury or illness. If this referral is passed by your honorable body, then we will add those 11 positions to our vacancies for a total of at least 21. Those will have to be new hires, primarily for the academy that would start in late fall. We would not be able to use them until most likely August. However, we're doing it in conjunction with an aggressive marketing campaign to try to encourage lateral transfers from other agencies, specifically out-of-county agencies, because we tend to compete for the same pool of people with the towns and villages here in Monroe County. So our efforts towards reaching a further audience outside of Monroe County is where we're going to focus our efforts. So there will be some new hires that can go to work quickly, but the majority of these deputies would graduate from the academy next August.
Thank you. And through the chair, a follow-up question to that would be the equipment and the vehicles. Would there also have to be an appropriation of those things to support the additional manpower?
Through the chair, eventually there would be, yes. We can get through a short-term period by using used equipment and recycling that equipment, but eventually it will be a bill to come to pay. Yes.
Thank you. And I'd like to explain my vote if I could, please, to the chair. I applaud the county executive and the Monroe County Sheriff's Department for taking the initiative to add these 11 deputies, which are not only going to serve the public safety requirements for the city of Rochester, but also in the suburbs. I think it was well thought out. I'm sure it'll be well executed, and I speak for my entire caucus, I'm sure, in echoing that we certainly appreciate all the service that the Monroe County Sheriff's Department provides for the resident of our county. So thank you. Is
there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0196, mortgage tax distribution.
Moved by legislator Smith, seconded by legislator Dondorfer. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0198, amend the 2022-2027 capital improvement program and 2022 capital budget to add a project entitled STD Clinic Relocation, authorize financing for the project, and authorize acceptance of reimbursement from the city of Rochester of federal relocation dollars.
Moved by legislator Dondorfer, seconded by legislator Colby. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 22-0199, approve amendments to 2022 salary schedules and authorize retention payments to full-time employees.
Moved by legislator Colby, seconded by legislator Marionetti. Is there any discussion? Legislator Smith.
Through the chair, can you provide through the chair to the administration, can you provide a list of who is to receive both the 2022 salary schedule changes as well as a list of who is to receive the retention payments?
Through the chair, for the change to the salary schedule, that will impact all employees current and present of the 2%. And for the retention payments, those will be paid to any employee who is below a group 25 or the equivalent on the sheriff's salary schedules.
Thank you.
Legislator Dondorfer.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the administration, based off of our public speaker, has there been any any thought or any consideration for the part-time employees that they speak of? Or is that something that would be just too difficult to go through and figure out?
Through the chair, there were discussions with regard to full-time and part-time. Full-time was determined because for part-time, that also includes per diem, and that is very much a changing population. So it was just determined that the full-time would be the only one that would be feasible to actually do.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Are there any other matters to come before this committee? There being no other matters, the May 24th, 2022 meeting of the Ways and Means Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Ways and Means Committee will be held Tuesday, June 28th, 2022 at 6 p.m.